Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Wednesday. Literally another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast because today, or I should say this afternoon, I'm going to be discussing Utah Hockey Club changing their name to Utah Mammoth. So, of course, I did put out an episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast around 11:45 a.m. Couldn't do it around the normal show time at 11:30 a.m. Central Time because I was doing exams and, ending the semester of my sophomore year of college on a strong note. So I put it out for 11:45 a.m. Central Time. And when I put out that episode, I did not talk about Utah Hockey Club changing their name to Utah Mammoth because I made that episode and I put it out before Utah Hockey Club made the announcement and they changed their name to Utah Mammoth. So I put out the episode before they made the announcement of Utah changing their name to Utah Mammoth. But obviously this kind of got me by surprise. And the reason why it got me by surprise is because I expected this to be done after the final game of the Stanley Cup Final. Or if not that, then maybe somewhere between the NHL draft and free agency. Somewhere in the offseason, I expected this to be done. But to do it now, during the Stanley Cup playoffs, surely caught me by surprise. And I'm pretty sure it shocked a lot of people as well. But anyways, that is the topic for this video. Like I said, this will be out on the TG Hockey channel. I will also put it on my Hockey Talk with TG podcast for you guys to watch. The mock draft video will have to be pushed back because obviously this is big time news. And so we're going to be talking about this first. I might do the mock draft video next week. It will be out on the TG Hockey channel next week for you guys to take a look at. But without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started into this video. So Utah Hockey Club, like I said, you guys already know, big news coming on today, or that happened today. Utah Hockey Club changing their name to Utah Mammoth. So obviously the team was Utah Hockey Club for the 2024-25 season. The name will be temporary until an official name was given. They relocated from Arizona to Salt Lake City. 2024-25 season, called themselves Utah Hockey Club temporary. And the team is owned by Ryan and Ashley Smith under the Smith Entertainment Group, and this is what they have to say on the name, and I quote, "We couldn't be more excited to launch the official name and marks for Utah's NHL hockey team. When it came to naming the team, we did something unprecedented, going through 4 rounds of community voting, including getting feedback not only on our potential names but also on potential logos. We love the passion of the people of Utah and the way they showed up for the team during this inaugural season and the energy they brought to voting on its permanent identity. From day one, we committed that this team would be built with and for the people of Utah. We are excited to celebrate today's launch with the entire state. The community chose the Utah Mammoth, and it stands as a symbol of who we are, where we came from, and the unstoppable force that we're building together." And certainly we'll agree with that. Utah Mammoth obviously being one of the finalist choice for the name besides Utah Outlaws and Utah Hockey Club. And, of course, they play their home games at the Delta Center, which is also where the NBA's Utah Jazz play at. So this took about 13 months for this to be, happen, for this to happen, for them to get the official name, everything down on paper. And more than 850,000 votes were cast across 4 rounds for this. They did have Utah Yeti as a choice, but because of the trademark and copyright issues with the Cooler brand Yeti, they took that out. So it's no longer an option for fans to choose from because of the Cooler brand Yeti. So that was removed because of copyright and trademark issues. And to be honest with you guys, I knew that Utah Mammoth was coming. Somehow, like I didn't expect it to happen now. Obviously, I expected this to be done in the off season. But even like then, like I knew Mammoth was going to be the choice because Utah Hockey Club. Man, I cannot stress enough how much I hate that name and how much that name, kind of pisses me off. Like I don't like that name. I hate the name for any professional sports team, whether it's NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, even MLS, which stands for Major League Soccer. For them to be called so-and-so hockey club, I guess it doesn't matter too much to soccer, but for more like NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB to be called so-and-so club, that kind of sounds odd and weird. Like no professional sports team should ever be called so-and-so hockey. I don't know why I keep saying hockey club. Probably because this is a hockey podcast I'm doing. But I'm speaking on all sports as of right now. Like for some team to be called so-and-so club, it's just so odd to see. But in my issues in sports and media classes, one of the classes that I took in the spring semester of college, we were talking about the Washington Commanders, the NFL team, and how they were called Washington Football Club at one point, and then they changed their name to Washington Commanders, which of course some people didn't like the name, according to what I heard. I don't know too much about football, mostly because I'm not a football person, but according to what I heard, some people didn't like the name. They wanted the name to change. They thought, the name offended, like, maybe they were called the Washington Indians. I think they were called the Washington Indians. Like I said, I don't know too much about football because I'm not a football person, but I think they were called the Washington Indians at some point. But all I know is somebody didn't like the name and thought it offended people, and so they wanted the name to change. So I'm guessing they changed it to Commanders after being called Washington Football Club, and doing it to Washington Indians and now the Washington Commanders. But yeah, any sports team, NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, to be called so-and-so club, it doesn't sound right. Like, that's more, middle school, high school type of team names. Even college. Like, if you're playing club hockey in college, it's not weird to have your team be called so-and-so hockey club because it's, club hockey or, middle school or high school. It's not weird then, but for a professional sports team, yes, it's weird and it's odd. That's why I hated that name. But again, I saw the name Utah Mammoth coming. Like, I saw it coming mostly because it felt like the best option out of the three names to choose from. And not only that, but they also leaked on their YouTube and Twitter page, Utah Mammoth. They put that tag name there. And, of course, I talked about that on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast before. They leaked their name to that. And so because of that, that was another reason why I knew Utah Mammoth was the best one, because they leaked the name a few weeks ago. They changed it back to Utah Hockey Club, and then they didn't make the official announcement until now. But the significance for this, the name pays homage to the mammoths that, roamed across Utah over 10,000 years ago. And, of course, they founded the Huntington Mammoth in 1988. So it's a lot of history with, I'm guessing, mammoths being in Utah that they decided to go with this name. And the mammoth, according to what I read in the notes that I got, it represents strength and momentum and brings a formidable presence to the name, which is something that, I feel like Utah Hockey Club, God, why do I keep saying that? Which is what I feel like the Mammoth would now use for, like, next season. And they did build this, phrase to say the rallying cry, Tusk Up. And they used that phrase, Tusk Up, to build a strong connection with the team and its fans. So I'm pretty sure you'll see fans holding up Tusk Up signs in the crowds somewhere next season. I'm pretty sure that will happen. And the new logo, to be honest, I love the logo. I love the logo. I think it's a fire logo, but it's sort of almost like the Nashville Predators logo almost. So I feel like they could have done something. The logo's fine, but it kind of compares it to the Nashville Predators logo. So I felt like maybe they could have, still go with Mammoth, but at least make the logo, probably give it a more better design, because like I said, it's basically like the Nashville Predators logo when you look at it. So that's why I said maybe a more better design could go with it. But other than that, the logos is better. Like, it's really good. Other than those issues about giving it a better design, I really do like the logo. And of course, Utah Mammoth the home jersey will, of course, be the logo attached to the chest like that, and then they'll have the Utah State outline on the shoulders, and then for the away jersey, it'll just be Utah. Basically what it was this season for the road jerseys, but for the home jerseys, it'll have the Utah Mammoth crest logo on the chest, and then the Utah outline of the state on the shoulders. So that's what it would be like. They did post this on social media pages as well. And of course, the team colors will be rock black, salt white, and mountain blue for the team colors. I can imagine Utah Mammoth going with a alternate jersey of just having a lightest blue colors. You know what I mean? Lightest blue type of color for their alternate jerseys. It could happen. We'll just have to see. And then I heard Gary Bettman say this on their press conference about this. Like, he talked about having a possible outdoor game with Utah, and he said this, and I quote, "We'll have one here too. We already done a site visit." So it seems like they're planning to have an outdoor game in Utah. I am all in for that. I love the idea. The problem is, where are they going to have it? Like, I don't know if there's any other sports teams in Utah besides the Utah Jazz of the NBA, which of course they play at the same arena as the Utah Mammoth. But if you live in Utah and you know Utah well, let me know down in the comments on if there's any place that the Utah Mammoth could host a outdoor game, because I would love to see it. The only problem is, where would it be at? So if you live in Utah, or if you know a lot about Utah, if you visited Utah before in the past, and if you've been to anywhere that you think the NHL could host an outdoor game in Utah, just let me know down in the comments, because I really don't know the answer to that. But it seems like a fun idea to do. It seems like a good idea. I'm all in for that idea. The problem is, where would they do it at? But that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, as always, and thank you guys for tuning in for the second time in one day. I didn't expect me to get a video or episode about this today. I wanted to do an episode just talking about this, because like I said, it did catch me by surprise. I didn't expect them to do this now. I knew Utah Mammoth was going to be the name, though. I didn't expect this to happen now, though. I expected it to be done somewhere in the off season, like between the NHL draft and free agency. That's when I expected this to be done. But to do it now in the Stanley Cup playoffs, like during the Stanley Cup playoffs, certainly caught me by surprise. And I know this was big time news, so I had to get a video of this out now. Or in this case, an episode, because like I said, I will put this on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast for all the audio listeners to listen to it. I will put it on the TG Hockey channel if you're going to be, watching it on YouTube. But yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on the name. Do you like the name? Do you wish there was a better name that they could have gone with? I like Utah Mammoth. I think it's a good name. It's certainly better than Utah Hockey Club. And it's definitely better than Utah Outlaws, because Utah Outlaws, as I said on the Hockey Talk TG podcast numerous times, that sounds more like a Texas South theme, country theme-ish hockey team name. And it just didn't fit with Utah. So that's why I didn't like that name, Utah Hockey Club. I especially don't like the name. I said my reasons why I don't like Utah Hockey Club. So Utah Mammoth was a good fit. I really do love the name. I wish Utah Blizzards. I think Utah Blizzards was an option, but I think they took that one out just because it wasn't a popular option among the fans. So yeah. But let me know you guys' thoughts on the name. Do you like the name? Do you wish there was a better name? Do you like the logo even? Do you think the logo's good? Are there any changes that you would make to the logo? Just let me know down in the comments below. But with that being said, I will see you guys Friday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. And the mock draft video on the TG Hockey channel will happen sometime next week. So I had to push it back a little bit just to let you guys know. Anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you Friday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.